Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Scott, and today we're painting the Hoplites for the City-States Army in Conquest: The Last Argument of Kings. These are some really awesome infantry, so let's go ahead and dive into how I've painted them. To get these models ready for painting, I've primed them using Ultramatte Black Paint Plus Primer from Rust-Oleum, but you're welcome to use any black primer that you want. We're going to start this project off by basing the cape, clothing, and plume on the model using Sotek Green. Once we're happy with that base color, we're going to take contrast Talassar Blue, we're going to water this down slightly and use this as the wash over all of the blue that we painted in the previous step. While that shade is drying, we're going to take Balthasar Gold and we're going to use this as the base color for the armor that appears on the model. We're going to shade the armor using contrast Guilliman Flesh. You don't want to go too heavy with this because it will change the color of the armor, and we don't want to darken it down more than we have to. Once that shade is dried, we're going to take a mixture of 1 part Gahenna's Gold and 2 parts copper from Pro Acryl, and we're going to layer this over all the flat surfaces of the armor, but we are leaving the recesses with the darker copper color showing through. Moving back to the clothing, we're going to take a mixture of 1 part Temple Guard Blue and 1 part Sotek Green. We're going to begin layering this over all the folds that appear in the clothing on the model. Our next step is to take Temple Guard Blue by itself, and we're going to do an additional layer of highlighting, but we're not going quite up as far as we did with the previous layer of highlighting. This will create a nice transition from the darker blue up to the lighter blue on the cloak. Now that we're done with that layer of highlighting, we're going to take Baharroth Blue, and we're going to use this to pick out the sharpest edges on the clothing of the model. It's time to start working on the skin on the model, and we're going to begin by taking Cadian Fleshtone. We're going to use this as the base color for all the skin that appears across the model. Don't forget to also paint the skin that appears on the portion of the arm that's connected to the back of the shield. We're going to shade all of the skin using Reikland Fleshshade, and you don't want to go too heavy with this because we're not trying to darken the skin down, we just want to get this shade in the recesses of the muscles. Now if you're worried that maybe you went too heavy with the shade, don't worry, because the next step in this project is to take Cadian Fleshtone, and we're going to layer this back over all the raised curves of the muscles on the model, and this brings back that original skin tone that we started with. Next, we're going to take Kislev Flesh, and we're going to layer this over the spots where we feel like the light would catch the most on the skin of the model. Now, this is a pretty pale skin tone, so don't go too heavy with this, or it will make your model look very pale. Moving back to the armor, we're going to take Leadbelcher. We're going to paint this on the mechanical arm that appears on the model. We're also going to use this for the tip of the spear and the trim that occurs across the armor. Now we're going to take contrast Basilicanum Grey, and we're going to use this to shade the Leadbelcher parts of the model that we painted in the previous step. Now you don't necessarily need to use this on the trim on the armor because some of those details are too small for the shading to matter. Once the shade is dried, we're going to take Ironbreaker, and we're going to begin to layer this over the iron parts of the model, and anywhere that the shade is pooled, you can go ahead and not paint this color, and it'll leave a tarnished look on the metal. Next, we're going to take Mournfang Brown, and we're going to use this to paint the leather tassets that are around the waist of the model, as well as any other leather or wooden parts on the model. We're also going to take Balthasar Gold, and we're going to use this to paint the detail work that is on the tip of the spear on this particular model. You could also use this color to add any variety that you want to the mechanical parts of the model. We're going to shade both the copper and brown details that we painted in the last 2 steps using Agrax Earthshade. Once that shade is dried, we're going to take Zandri Dust and we're going to use this to highlight the edges of all the leather pieces on the model. There's a bit of trim and detail work that appears on the clothing on the models. We're going to paint that trim using Administratum Grey. Our final step in this project is to take Grey Seer, and we're going to use this to highlight the raised ridges and folds in the trim on the fabric. And with that, we finished painting this hoplite. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, go ahead and like it, and then subscribe to my channel so you can see future videos that I make. I'd like to give a special shout out to my channel members that make videos like this possible. If you would like to become a channel member, hit the join button below this video, and you'll gain access to exclusive perks such as a members only Discord where you can chat directly with me whenever you'd like. As always, have an amazing day, and we'll catch you in the next one.